If you're thinking of moving to Bremerton, here is the truth. Most regrets do not come from the house you buy. It comes from the day-to-day lifestyle, the wrong location, the wrong commute, the wrong school district that you didn't pressure test before you moved in. When you look at why people are unhappy here, it's not because of the beautiful sunny days. It's because a very clear pattern starts to show up. And that's why in this video, I'm breaking down the 7 specific things people underestimate before they move here, the specific expectations people move here with versus the reality, and how to pick the right neighborhood and the right location so that you don't become one of those regret stories. If we haven't met yet, I'm Cassandra Lopez with the Living in Bremerton channel. I make videos all about Bremerton, Washington, and all of Kitsap County. I'm also a local real estate agent here, and I help buyers and sellers all over Bremerton, Silverdale, Poulsbo, Port Orchard, and all of the surrounding areas in Kitsap. All right, let's get into the 7 reasons why people regret moving here and what I tell my clients to try to help avoid all of that. Okay, let's start with the one that is probably super obvious and at the top of everyone's mind, and that is the sticker shock and cost of living here. So Bremerton, Washington, and Kitsap County, our home prices are high, mortgages are high, rents are high. It's just a higher cost of living. It is much cheaper than a lot of metros. So like if you're coming from Seattle or exploring Seattle area, you'll see that we're like half as expensive as Seattle, but that doesn't mean that we're automatically inexpensive. If you're coming from a place like the South, where you can buy 30 acres and a farmhouse for $300,000, then yeah, you're going to have some sticker shock when you get here. Recent market snapshots showed median home price in the mid 400s to high 400s, depending on where you're purchasing in Kitsap, but I feel like that's kind of on the low end. It's creeping higher and higher, especially more north into Kitsap you go. So if you go up into like East Central Kitsap or Tracyton or Chico areas, those are going to be your more expensive areas in Bremerton. Rents are estimated at, on an average, at like $1,800 to $2,000, and that's just for like a 1-bed, 1-bath or a 2-bed, 1-bath. There's some brand new apartments that are like waterfront living where you can get a studio for $1,800. So it really just depends on what you're renting, where you're renting, the age of the building, that sort of thing. And then you start factoring in like day-to-day costs that maybe you didn't plan for to begin with. Like if you rely on the ferry, you're going to have to pay the ferry tolls. If you rely on like taking the Tacoma Narrows Bridge into Tacoma, there's a bridge toll going eastbound. I just filled my gas tank this morning. It was $79 because gas is almost $5 a gallon right now. So your commute is going to matter, the distance from home to work. Moving is already expensive, and then you add on these little like ticky-tacky things you didn't think about when you plan to move here, and it really just starts to add up if you weren't prepared. The regret shows up as budget stress, not necessarily that Bremerton is a bad place to live. I'm biased though, of course, because I love it here. So when you plan for just your mortgage payment and maybe like your utilities, but you don't plan around all these other things, that's where these lifestyle costs really start to layer on top. And factoring in if you buy an older home that needs maintenance or, something like that, these things can really start to add up. So some questions I like to ask are you budgeting for this lifestyle commitment and change on top of your mortgage? Are you commuting? And if so, have you priced the ferry tolls or the bridge tolls or the distance between home and work, what it's going to cost you gas on a weekly basis? Do you have a realistic maintenance plan for your home for the next 12 to 24 months? So this is partly why for all of my home buyers, I purchase a 1-year home warranty at closing. So that way, kind of that first year of maintenance is less of a headache because they have a home warranty to fall back on. I also buy it for my home sellers too, but it ends up going to whoever buys my listings as well for that first year, just to kind of mitigate any costs, because moving is expensive. Buying a house is expensive. So what I like to have my clients do in order to avoid this budget regret is, factor in the cost of your mortgage, principal, interest, taxes, insurance, plus your gas, plus your utilities, plus your ferry tolls, anything that you may be committing to on a daily or weekly basis. And be sure to always check the ferry schedules as well, because if you're living here but commuting to Seattle by ferry, you need to make sure you have reliable transportation. And if that includes driving your car on the ferry, you want to make sure you're paying attention to those schedules, because right now they're doing construction at the ferry dock and the sailings are a little bit limited. So just double check those. If you want to make sure Bremerton actually fits your budget and your routine, go ahead and reach out. I will help you run numbers, find commuting patterns, or really just kind of do anything that would help fit your ideal day-to-day lifestyle when you're living here. The second reason people regret moving to Bremerton is the traffic. And while we are not a major metropolitan city and we don't have city traffic, we don't have a 6-lane freeway jam-packed, we are surrounded by water there on so many sides that there are some places that there's only one way in and out of, and traffic can really get backed up. If you are heading southbound Highway 3 to Highway 16 through the Gorst area in the afternoon, you're going to want to clear it before 2:30, or you're going to be sitting in that traffic because it starts at 2:30 and it doesn't end till around 6. So we call it the shipyard traffic. It's just this incredible bottleneck that traffic leaving the shipyard plus traffic on the freeway, and it goes from like 4 lanes down to 1 lane. It's just a total mess. And there's nothing that can really be done about it because there's water on one side, there's a granite hill on the other. The state has been trying to figure out how to mitigate this, but it's not going to be clearing anytime soon. There's a couple of main arterials through downtown Bremerton that are also affected by peak hour traffic. So your main east-west arterials are going to be Burwell. Burwell goes all the way down to the ferry and runs all the way over to Charleston Boulevard, basically. So where you're going to head out of town, where you're going to head south towards Gorst. And it's a major avenue for shipyard traffic because it's right next to the shipyard. The next one over would be 6th Street, and then 11th Street, 15th Street, not so much. Maybe that's an alternative, but 6th and 11th for sure. Some busy streets as well. And then heading north and south, you've got Warren Avenue, Wheaton Way. It's State Route 303, but it's called lots of different things. So those are a few main really busy arterials during peak hours. If you are working in Bremerton, but taking the foot ferry to Port Orchard, say you live in Port Orchard and you commute by foot ferry, which is super convenient, just expect if there's a wait at the ferry, if there's a delayed crossing due to fog, which is minimal because the crossing is so short in the first place. But just expect to kind of have to stand around and wait a little bit, because if the boat is full during peak hours, you just have to wait for the next sailing. So while Bremerton and Kitsap County is definitely a slower pace than Seattle or Tacoma, there are some day-to-day frictions with those traffic patterns that can feel like a total headache. So the regret shows up as lost time, road rage, mental load as you're getting out of town, because the drivers through Gorst are so aggressive sometimes. Everyone's just trying to like cut to the front of the line, but there is no front of the line. Like everybody is the traffic. And so you just kind of have to ride it out. So while Google Maps might say your destination from A to B is only 5 miles, it might take you 30 minutes to get there. So some questions to ask yourself are, what time do you actually need to leave home to get to work on time? And then when you leave work to get back home, what hour of the day is that and how long is that going to take you? Are you ferry dependent? Are you car dependent? Are you flexible on either of those? Can you alternate? Have you driven through Gorst during peak hours? Do you know exactly what it feels like? And what happens if you miss a ferry? Do you have a plan B if you missed your ferry sailing? So what I recommend to all my clients is, if they're going to be driving through one of those high traffic, high bottleneck areas, do it during peak hours at least once, so that you know what that drive feels like. And so you can actually decide if you want to commit to a certain location or not, because your job location probably isn't going to change, but you can decide where to live. So if you let me know where you're going to be working, and then your ideal commute around that, and how you plan on getting from A to B, we can structure a plan to kind of narrow down the locations that might work best for you. Regret number 3, why people regret moving to Bremerton, is the gray weather. Now, as you can see today, we have a beautiful sunny day. This is not a backdrop. This is real life. It's gorgeous outside. It's mild. There's a light breeze. It's really a beautiful spring day. And these are the days we just totally live for. But we get a lot of gray days, and we don't necessarily get per inches like as much rain as people think. There's other cities like Houston and Atlanta. They get more rainfall per inch per year than Seattle and Bremerton do. We get around 45 to 50. But every other day when it's not raining, it's just going to be kind of like this gray overcast, and it's just kind of chilly and kind of cold, and you're just ready for the sun. So if you're moving here from a place that's like super sunny, like Southern California or the South or Florida, like the Sunshine State, right? Like that's going to be a culture shock for you, because you're going to, not only is it not going to be warm, but it's not going to be sunny on those days. So this might change your outdoor activities, like how you get outside. It might affect your mood if you have like seasonal affective disorder, like so many people do. Like it might affect your, like if you can get out and walk the dogs or whatever. So it's important to visit here like at least once during the winter, so you can kind of see what to expect when you move here. Because if you can get through the winter, you get beautiful spring days like this, and our summers are fantastic. We have some of the best summers in the world. My one little opinion, but of course I'm biased. I love it. A lot of people who are PCSing here, PCS season is like summertime, right? Late spring, summertime. And so people only visit here during house hunting leave, like late summer or late spring, summertime. So they don't see the full effect of winter until they've already lived here and they moved here, and it's a little bit, and they just weren't ready for it. The lifestyle you pictured may feel a little bit smaller, not because Bremerton's a bad place, just because the weather is going to affect your daily activities and your daily routine. It's crazy how much your mood is affected to the sunlight and getting outside, and especially during daylight savings time in the fall. So like in November when we have daylight savings time and we get that extra hour of sleep, but then here in the northwest corner of the western northern hemisphere, it gets dark at 4 o'clock in the middle of winter. I mean, that's early, and then it doesn't even get light until like 8 o'clock the next morning. So that's not a lot of sunlight, and that's definitely going to take its toll if you're not used to it. So what a lot of people need to do that they don't know they need to do is actually shift their outdoor routine indoors. So we have a ton of indoor accommodations for wintertime if you want to still stay active. There's like pools and gyms and Sky Zone and Golf Zone, and Pendergast Park is an indoor athletic field. So we've found ways to compensate for the dark and the cold in the wintertime, but still be able to kind of get out and get active. So are you coming from a place that is super, super sunny all the time, and you know you're going to need to make some mental adjustments when you move here and try to acclimate to the gray days? Is the house you're buying, does it have a lot of natural light? Do you have a lot of tree cover? Does it have a lot of natural shade? Those are things to take into account. If so, then maybe you'll find ways to compensate for that by getting some sun lamps or something like that. Are you the kind of person who needs to be outside at least once a day to feel normal, like me? If so, then you just get like rain gear and you get stuff to bundle up and get outside. Even though it's cold and maybe wet sometimes, like we're not going to melt. We can get out in the elements and it'll feel a lot better when we get inside and we have our hot coffee waiting for us. So what I like to tell clients is if you can visit at least once during the wintertime, just so you can kind of see what it's like. And then if you have a gym routine or you like to take yoga classes or you want to get set up with some kind of like art society or something like that, let's try to pick some of those out and find some of that so you can have things to do when you get here. And so you're not like cooped up all winter and trying to find something to do. You already have something in place. If you tell me what kind of lifestyle you're trying to have, like walkability focused or convenience focused, I can kind of help you narrow down some areas that might be suitable for what you're looking for. The fourth reason people regret moving to Bremerton is the job market. So a lot of people are actually relocating here because of their job, like maybe they're guessing, maybe they're civil service in the shipyard and then transferring from another shipyard. Maybe they're a nurse. We have a great brand new remodeled state-of-the-art hospital. So a lot of people travel here because of work. But if you're not moving here because of work and you need to find work while you're here, and you're not bringing a remote position with you, then we need to discuss options. So Kitsap County is heavily influenced by government jobs, right? So we have Naval Base Kitsap and 3 locations, Bremerton, Bangor, Keyport. We have all of the auxiliary bases. We have a Puget Sound Naval Shipyard, which is the only nuke refit facility on the West Coast. So we have a lot of active duty and civil service, DoD employment here, as well as local governments, county level, city level, that sort of thing. I touched on healthcare. Healthcare is another huge employer here and a big draw for people moving from other locations. I have several physician clients who have come from like Denver, Colorado Springs, New York, all over the country. The hospital here, which is St. Michael Medical Center, recruited them and offered them positions from other, places. And so here they are. In addition, tons of traveling nurses. That's kind of like one of the biggest, anytime so I know the emergency room is full of traveling nurses. So there's a lot of, permanent positions there, but I know a lot of friends actually rent out rooms in their houses for these traveling nurses. So if you're looking to get into midterm rentals, that might be a good opportunity for you. Just across the water in Seattle, Seattle's going to have more of the private sector, tech jobs, that sort of thing. So if you're in that industry, Seattle might be a good opportunity for you. If you're willing to drive down the road a bit, Tacoma has a lot of opportunities as well because they're going to be bigger cities, more metropolis kind of stuff. So they're going to have different types of jobs to offer and a more variety of positions. So the friction comes when people move here first and they're like, oh, I'll just find a job later. Like, some people do that. They're totally free spirits. They're like, just Jack Kerouac and live life as it comes. That's great. That's not for me. I like to have a plan. So I would definitely have a job in place before I moved here, which I would encourage you to start exploring if you don't have a job yet, but you're thinking of moving here. Some friction comes when they do start researching jobs in their field and maybe think because we're close enough to Seattle, that means that we also have the variety of jobs that Seattle has, which is not the case. We do have a variety of jobs to the level that you would see in a big city. If you're in a specific industry, you're going to want to verify employment opportunities, timeline for hire, demand for hire, and then commute options from wherever your ideal neighborhood is to your place of employment. So a couple of questions that would be great to ask, right? Like, are you bringing your job with you or do you need to find a new one when you move here? Does your industry or niche or skill align with the major employers that we have here, federal defense, healthcare, that sort of thing? If Seattle's an option for you, that's great because it opens up tons of opportunities. You're checking those ferry crossings and your commute patterns. Do you have a plan B if you don't get the job in the sector that you want or expected? So if you tell me kind of where you're looking to work, whether it's here in Kitsap or over in Seattle or down in Tacoma, then we can start targeting neighborhoods and locations that will fit the commute that you want. Reason number 5 people might regret moving to Bremerton is the nightlife or lack thereof and city energy feeling a little underwhelming. So if you're used to a big city vibes, late nights, late last calls, this is not the place for that. While we are close to Seattle, where all of the shenanigans happen over there, we do kind of tend to roll up the sidewalks a little early here. And I've been trying to find a place to use that phrase because the client said it to me once and I had no idea what it meant, but she explained it to me that's, I guess, a term from the South, like the sidewalks roll up early. And I'm like, oh, that makes sense now. So anyway, it does here. Places close early. And by early, you're going to have pubs and restaurants open till midnight or 1 kind of on the weekends. And during the week, earlier. Bremerton definitely has its venues and its events and its schedule, and it's a fun place, definitely. But the nightlife is going to be sporadic and maybe scheduled around bigger things. Like we have the FIFA World Cup coming up. So there's going to be some events scheduled around that I'm sure will go late into the night, but it's not going to be a regular thing. Downtown Bremerton leans more towards stuff like the First Friday Art Walk and other scheduled events like that, rather than like a 24/7 nightlife social scene. If you want to catch something in the evening, there's places like the Roxy and the Admiral. They're always showing stuff well into the night. Shows will be done maybe around 10 or 11. But you can find yourself in a restaurant that closes at 9 p.m. And a lot of the coffee shops here close at 2 in the afternoon. So people who were expecting a more vibrant late night party social scene maybe might feel bored, might feel disconnected, might feel itching to go do something, like they have to get out of town to go have that kind of fun, which you can. Seattle's only 12 miles away. And that can turn into regret, not because Bremerton's a bad place, just because they're used to that late night party scene. Bremerton has its own scene. It's not going to be like Seattle. So if your expectation is that we have a party scene here, we do not. So let's just set that expectation right now. There are parties. There are a time and a place. It's just not a daily. So a couple of questions to ask yourself, are you the kind of person who really loves that party, jam, club, and lifestyle? Then head to Seattle a couple times a month. Or would you be happy with just weekly routines and occasional events that would take you into the night? So things I'd like to tell my clients on this agenda is there are places like Seattle and Tacoma have those scenes for sure. It's just not going to be in your backyard. You're just not going to have that 24/7 social party it up lifestyle. If you tell me what you like to do for fun outside of work and you're looking for some sort of evening festivities, I can kind of help point you in the right direction for what you're looking for and offer a couple of suggestions if Bremerton or Kitsap doesn't have what you're looking for. Reason number 6 people regret moving to Bremerton is the crowd and the parking. The waterfront you pictured as your calm reset can feel a lot more crowded than expected. Easy waterfront access, easy ferry access, easy parking. I'll just pop downtown whenever. downtown Bremerton has outsourced all of its parking management to the private sector. It used to be City of Bremerton. Now they outsource it. And parking's a bear. So if you live within the city limits of Bremerton, you do get free park, like anywhere in the city. So you'll have a little tag you put in your car and you get free parking anywhere. If you don't live in the city, you get free 2-hour parking. Handicap zones, I think, are free 4-hour parking. They'll come chalk your tires. And nowadays by chalk, they actually will just take a picture of your license plate and your location. So you can't argue it. And they're pretty strict and they're pretty good about getting around. So like if you are parked somewhere for 2 hours, like it's a good idea to go move your car because they will be ticketing. There are designated paid lots. So you can pay for, a block of time or 24 hours. There are parking garages. And all of these have like longer term. So if you're like, say, going to a sporting event in Seattle and you're walking on the ferry and you're parking here on the Bremerton side, then you would just get, like a 10 or 12 hour parking, you'd pay for that fee and then you just go have your fun, come back, your car is still there. Sometimes in downtown Bremerton, parking can be even worse. Like Quincy Square closes to traffic Friday through Sunday, so it's pedestrian only between Washington and Pacific. So no traffic there. And then sometimes the rates for the parking lots and parking garages go up on the weekends during peak seasons, like for sports and stuff, because they know people are going to be using them. And sometimes roads are closed because they have events. And so like during the Blackberry Festival, the roads are all closed. And so there's definitely no parking there. Oftentimes when they do that though, they'll provide shuttles. So you can like park at an alternate location and shuttle over to the event, which is pretty nice. So maybe that means you start avoiding downtown because you don't like the parking situation. And that would be terrible because downtown has a lot of great stuff to offer, like food and coffee, of course, and all these great artisan shops. And it's just kind of fun to take the afternoon and play hooky and go walk around downtown. Or maybe you are trying to catch a ferry and you didn't realize that parking was going to be a situation. And so now you feel rushed to find parking, pay for parking, run over to the ferry, pay for the ferry, board the ferry real quick. So the good news is that the state ferry walking from Bremerton to Seattle is free. So you can just walk right on. You don't have to pay. The foot ferry from Bremerton to Seattle is like $2. You still have to pay for that. So you have to like stop the kiosk and pay real quick, or they have a little canister where you can literally drop your dollars in. So, but it's time. You have to take time to do that. So the regret comes when we're buying this waterfront lifestyle and we're buying the convenience of being close to a downtown, and we realize that parking is kind of a mess and there's crowds because there's events, and maybe we wanted a quieter lifestyle. We didn't realize it was going to be so urban. So there are alternatives. So like right now I'm in Manette, which is just across the Manette Bridge. So you could live in Manette and then walk over the bridge and you're like right in downtown. You don't have to park. So that's an alternative. So a couple questions to think about as you're finding your place to live, like how often do you want to be downtown? Do you want to like live downtown, or do you just want to like attend events downtown? Do you need all-day parking? Do you need quick street parking? If the ferry is going to be part of your routine, are you going to have your designated go-to parking lot or place that you need to park, or are you going to maybe just Uber it down there to avoid parking altogether? So I like to tell my clients, if being downtown in any situation, specifically if you're commuting to and from work, is part of your routine, how frequently do you need to be down there? Do a weekday test during peak hours, morning and afternoon. Do a weekend test. There's not really peak hours on the weekend, but like just do sometime during the weekend so you can kind of see how it's going to feel in real life. And don't forget to factor in the cost of the ferry. And especially if you're driving on the ferry, there is a charge for your car in both directions. So just factor that in. So if you let me know how frequently you plan on being downtown or using a ferry, or need some sort of parking situation on a regular basis, I can kind of help you navigate how that works and what that looks like, and maybe some good options like buying monthly passes and this sort of thing to kind of ease the burden a little. And the seventh and final reason people regret moving to Bremerton, and this one's a little bit on the emotional side and more common than people like to admit, and that is making friends and feeling connected. But Bremerton is a small city. It's definitely not a metropolis, and there's a lovely community vibe, and people are friendly, and people are welcoming, and people are warm. But you really have to be intentional. Connection is not going to be automatic. You have to go out and find the things you like to do. And usually when you find something you like to do, then you just start connecting with other people who share those common interests. So find your social circles, right? There's going to be parks and rec centers and senior centers and that sort of thing. Kitsap Regional Library has 11 locations around the county, and they're constantly holding classes and events. Places like Town and Country and Poulsbo and Bainbridge Island have cooking classes. So if you want to join a cooking class to, well, not only learn how to cook, but you can go to meet people, that would be a great opportunity as well. Recurring events like First Friday Art Walk and farmers markets and the night markets are always great places to go mingle. And then we have like 3 YMCA locations, one in Silverdale, one in Manette, and one brand new one. It's like what do they call it? An express, a YMCA Express. It's right in downtown Bremerton. They always have tons of classes that you can sign up for. There's also like a lot of adult friendly things like paint and sips and that sort of thing where you can go kind of like unwind and make some creative, beautiful art as well. Moving to a new area, if you've never lived here before or anywhere, can feel very isolating if you don't have any friends yet. You can start to second guess your decision to have moved here, regret that you have orders here for another 4 years, and you're like, this feels awful. This does not feel like home, especially if you have a remote position and you're working from home and you never get out of your house. Well, like now, how are you supposed to meet people? You have to be very intentional. There's a lot going on when you move, the move itself, unpacking, painting, redecorating, doing all these things in your home, right? But once you're in and once you're settled, then what? Then it really starts to sink in that like, I don't have any friends here. Let's try to go out and make you some friends. So some questions like, are you moving with children? Like, can you get involved with like school activities and that sort of thing? If you work remote, do you have a plan to like leave your house at least once a day? What are your natural connections? Do you like going to the gym? Do you like art classes? Do you like outdoor stuff? Do you like pottery? Do you like movies? Do you like plays? And find a couple of weekly activities you can commit to for like 60 days just to see how you like it. I like to tell my clients, like, let's pick a couple of activities that you like to do and find out where those will be in relation to where you're going to live or work. So it's proximal and it's easy to access. If you know what you're looking for specifically, let me know and I can kind of guide you in the right direction and give you some options of where you might be able to find these social circles. If you're thinking of moving to Bremerton or anywhere in Kitsap County, and you want to avoid any and all of these regrets that we talked about in this video today, reach out. There's a link in the description where you can call, text, or email me. You can download any one of my amazing guides for resource and reference. I'm Cassandra Lopez with the Living in Bremerton channel. I help buyers and sellers relocate all over Bremerton, Silverdale, Poulsbo, Port Orchard, and all over Kitsap County. And I will help you avoid all of these regrets if I can help it. See you on the channel.